Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There's still seats down the front, and I think we'll be pretty tight, so please come and take your seats. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is very low level. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. There's still some seats down the front. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone standing up the back there, there's still a few seats down in this front area, so please come on down and get a seat. You don't want to be standing up for the evening, trust me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Funding Network Australia. We're back in Sydney for our last event for this year. Thank you for coming. It's a wonderful turn-up, absolutely marvellous. And to start things off, I was going to give an acknowledgement to country, but we can trump that because we can actually do a welcome to country through Peter Cooley and Briar Martin. So could I ask Peter and Briar to come up, please?
Thanks, Patrick. I can't actually do a welcome because this is not my country, but I can do acknowledgement, which I will do now. I'd just like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, of the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on tonight. And I'd like to extend that acknowledgement to their elders past and present. And I hope it's a really good night tonight and everyone has a good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Briar. Wonderful. That's a great start. And we have a special treat to open the proceedings tonight. We've invited a team from Information and Cultural Exchange, known as ICE, to prepare. They've prepared a short performance for us. Two artists performing tonight for us, Listic and Gabrilla Shine. But before they do, and to introduce them, ICE's Executive Director, John Kirkman. John.
Look, thank you very, very much. We'll be really brief. It's a great pleasure to be here tonight and to present our work. We're not pitching, so we can relax a little bit. But Information and Cultural Exchange, or as we call it, ICE, we're based in Parramatta and we're a community-based arts organisation which for 30 years has actually trained young people. We work with migrants, with refugees, with Aboriginal people. We make movies, we make music, we make TV. We do everything. It's a really great organisation, and what we're showcasing tonight is one of our projects, which is called Street to Studio, and rather than me bang on about it, I thought I'd ask Christian, who's the producer. He does a really amazing job, so he'll briefly tell you about this particular project. So thank you very, very much.
Hi, so thanks, John. As John said, I'm Christian Tancred, the producer of the Street to Studio project. What we do with Street to Studio is bring young people from around Western Sydney who may not have had the opportunity to have classical musical training or access to music growing up. So we provide them with the opportunity to get involved in hip-hop, digital music, and we invite industry professionals to come and mentor the young people. So we kind of use music for brotherhood. We spend a lot of time sitting around actually jamming and making tunes, but then it invariably ends up at the end of the night as almost like a men's group. We do invite women along as well, and we do actually have some girls getting involved as well. But I think tonight, we without listening to me talk too much, we've got two of our artists here. Listic, Lima Penny, aka Listic, grew up in Redfern when Redfern wasn't as trendy, and he's a mainstay of the Sydney hip-hop underground scene. He's a beat maker and MC himself. If you know hip-hop in Australia, you know Listic. And what Listic's now done is turned himself around and is offering his knowledge to young people, introducing them to hip-hop. One of those young people is Gabrilla Shine, our friend Ali. Ali isn't the most outspoken of people, but he uses music as a communication tool. He's been fortunate enough to be able to collaborate with, again, if you know hip-hop, a guy named Chris Hamer-Smith, Chasm, who is one part of astronomy class. He's well known with the Elephant Tracks guys. So what we've done is bring in, industry big heavyweights to work with young people, and you're about to see the results. So if you guys want to come up and...
One, two. Yes, how is everybody? I'm one of the workshop facilitators, and I actually taught Ali last term, so if I get this verse wrong, it's going to look really bad. So what we have here, I'm just going to do a little a cappella, show them what I can do, and we'll let Ali speak the rest. So here we go. Men and women, it's time that you start living. Never mind about your religion. Never mind about class division. It's time that we start listening. Don't you know that we're all different? Realize that something's missing, and I hope this thought is sticking. No sex, color, class division. You've got to stop running away. Do you live for tomorrow, or do you live for today? For now you're young, you think you can play. In later years, you throw it all away. Next stage, now you're middle-aged. Then you find out that you're going astray. You want to know just where your life went, thinking about all the days that you spent without really a care in the world, chasing dreams, diamonds and pearls. And just what good did that do you? Did you win, or are you a loser? Now you got to be in the right position so that you can make those clear decisions. So take your next steps with caution, and if you do, your life could be awesome. Now, Ali, on the rap flow, Mr. Soundman, just let the beat go.
Check. Check. Let's check it out. Listen. Check it. Look, I used to think Tupac Shakur was my role model. With Hail Mary, I'm a rider as my own model. The mental mindset of an underrated overachiever blends in every crowd just like a black and white four-legged zebra. And I'm the keeper of the angel within every creature. I'm not a sinner, please forgive me for my misdemeanor. My soul blaze, I'm headed down the very runway. It lead me to the gates of heaven, yes, I make it one day. But check this, I fight oppression with a blackened fist. I see my haters trying to lose me in the cloudy mist. The soulful bliss, it keep me calm, so why they take a hit? Keep the stress away, cause if I don't, then I'll be magic. I'm from the land of the wise. I'm chilling with the dreamers and the thinkers. We ain't thinking about no other side. The parasites, they live to die. You better know that if you see me falling, catch me falling from the upper sky. And one day I want this world wrapped around my finger, cause I'm a poet set to rule the kingdom of the leaders. I even got these doubters looking twice to take a picture. So hold on to your breath, you can't believe I'm that hitter.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Listic, and thank you, Gabrilla. That's a great start. Thank you very much, guys. And so please talk to these guys later on and get some further ideas about what they're involved with and how they're helping people out in the western suburbs of Sydney. We have a really interesting, fascinating indeed evening in Prospect tonight. Special thanks to TFN's ongoing partners and supporters that you can see on the screen there. Welcome to all our New South Wales members and representatives of TFN's Sydney Leadership Council as well. And also special welcome to anyone, and there are quite a few of them who are joining us now as we stream live online right across Australia. So it's a wonderful opportunity for the people all around Australia to actually get a bit of a snapshot and see what's happening with the Funding Network Australia. And a special thank you to our venue host and founding partner, AMP. We thank them very warmly for this wonderful venue here. It's a magnificent spot, isn't it? And I'd like to welcome Julia Quinn, Director of Media and Community Relations, just to say a few words to us. Julia.
Thank you, Patrick. Good evening, everybody. My name's Julia and I'm the Director of Media and Community Relations here at AMP. On behalf of AMP, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you and thank you for joining us tonight to hear from and hopefully support some very interesting social change organisations through the funding network. We're incredibly proud to be one of the founding partners of the funding network, which is providing a fantastic forum for everyday people to play their role in supporting innovation and social impact. A great deal can be achieved when people get together and lend their support to small, non-profit organisations. I hope you all enjoy hearing from each of our 4 presenting organisations tonight. I was very fortunate to be part of the selection panel and was incredibly impressed with their work and passion of each of those founders. I hope you enjoy the evening.
Thanks very much, Julia. Just a little snapshot, bring you up to date. Since TFN Australia's inception, we've now raised more than $1 million, and we've helped support 36 small non-profit organisations. So we're on the way. And to just give us a little idea of TFN's philosophy, please welcome TFN Australia's CEO and co-founder, Lisa Cotton.
Thanks very much, Rick. Do you think I should wrap this? Should I try? Have a go. Thanks so much for coming tonight, particularly with such terrible weather. So we really, really do appreciate it. You know, I've been involved in philanthropy in the non-profit sector for about 12 years now and seen some incredible courage and tenacity with social entrepreneurs facing huge challenges and overcoming them. And I've also seen enormous generosity and kindness from donors and supporters and people who support those social entrepreneurs. And one of the things they have in common is a sense of purpose. You know, and a sense of purpose is what so many of us are striving to have in our lives. You know, for the social entrepreneurs, this really propels them forward to overcome the odds and do what they do. And, you know, donors say, and I've heard this time and time again, when they get involved in non-profit organisations and they can see the impact of that contribution that they're making, it really does add another lovely dimension to their lives. You know, with the funding network, we really want more people to have an opportunity to experience this. I mean, giving is not just for the wealthy, it's for everybody. I don't know if everyone is aware, but Australia has the highest per capita income in the world. And I believe, and my board believe, and our supporters believe, that the resources in Australia, and I'm talking not just financial, but human resources in Australia, just simply aren't being tapped. And this is the reason why we established the funding network. The funding network is really quite unique. It enables anybody to go out into their communities and put forward innovative social enterprises or small non-profit organisations to pitch for funding and support. And I really am at pains to say that it's not just about the funding. Despite the name, the funding network, it's about all of the other type of contributions that the organisations receive. You know, for the small organisations, the TFN gives them a voice. It gives them access to a network and a platform to talk about what they do. For the guests and members of TFN and our supporters, it's a real learning opportunity. We want more people to learn about the social issues that are affecting so many of us out in the community. So really importantly, I think that, you know, if we don't want people to wait to make a difference. There's a lot of people who say, look, I'll do that when I'm really successful. But we should do it now. And, you know, I urge you to provide your support tonight if you're inspired to do so. And please have a fantastic night. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lisa. Some of you have already seen how the funding network works and you've been here and seen it in action. But for those who haven't, here's a short video that just gives a snapshot of the power of the concept and give you an idea of what is ahead of you this evening.
The Funding Network offers a new way of giving.
Almost reality TV in a way, it's sort of like live crowdfunding.
We meet and pool donations to help fledgling social change projects for an impact far greater than our individual capacities.
these early stage charities, they need this type of airplay to get off the ground.
TFM members select 4 projects to come to an event, to pitch for 6 minutes and answer questions for 6 minutes. Our aim, to raise at least $10,000 for each project.
It's great because I think the smaller not-for-profits get a voice and to be able to let the community know what we're doing.
After the pitching comes the pledging. It's purely voluntary, amounts range from $100 upwards. It provides the magic of the evening as funders inspired by projects and the people behind them are able to do their bit to lend them a hand.
When they said food within and that amount, my knees just shaked. I thought I was going to fall to the ground.
Really speechless about it, actually.
There were big and generous hearts in this room who dug deep, and there are people who want to talk beyond this room.
And it's not only about the money.
Events like this are phenomenal for organisations like us. It gives us a launching platform, and more than anything, it allows us to develop relationships with people in the room as well. You know, it's not just about the cash, but that initial contact, that thing, and to get the money is just another huge bonus for us.
Economy $387,000 per hour. I'm passionate about young men because 89% of what we see in the Australian media about this group is negative. You see, our country paints young men as liabilities, and at age 19, I decided that I will not be part of the majority that undermine their potential. So I established the Top Blokes Foundation, a youth-led organisation based in Wollongong that empowers boys and young men to reduce their antisocial and risk-taking behaviours. 9 years on, we work with over 1,000 young boys and young men with our peer mentoring and suicide prevention training. Think back to when you were growing up. Who was that one male who shaped you to be who you are today? For the boys that we work with, they don't have positive male role models. They come from broken families where drugs, alcohol, neglect, violence, it's just part of daily life. Like Justin, who grew up drinking with his dad 5 times a week. He's only 15. Or like Mitch, who saw his mum answer their front door and she was instantly bashed by 2 men and he had no idea why. Or like Daniel, who to this day, he and his mum sleep in their car in his school car park because they are homeless. You see, these boys come from complex and traumatic backgrounds. They don't have that coping and communication skills that we have, and they have difficulties regulating their emotions. So angry outbursts and impulse decisions, it's just how they operate. These boys tell us not that they kind of believe, but that they know they don't matter. If you stood in front of them, you might see the hopelessness in their eyes. But for us, we see their potential to be transformed. And we do this through our Junior Top Blokes mentoring program. It's an 8-week program where we employ incredible youth workers, and you'll meet Brenton soon, and they go into schools and work with the at-risk and disadvantaged boys who are aged 14 to 16, aka the boys who the teachers have no idea what to do with. And they talk about the topics that these boys are struggling with. So they talk about the drugs and alcohol, mental health, but they also talk about pornography, sexting, cyberbullying, risk-taking, peer pressure, anger management in a straight-up, no fluffiness, own your choices approach. We believe that when you pair a boy who is struggling to a positive male role model, you will help that boy from going down that downhill spiral. And it seems to work. Like with Jake, who comes from a family of intergenerational unemployment. We found out that 3 weeks after he finished our program, he secured his first casual job at the local fish and chip shop. We were so excited. We had found out that one of the main reasons why he did get that job was simply because he had a certificate of completion of the program. Or like Sam, who was notorious for throwing chairs, throwing tables when he's angry. Within 6 months, he had been suspended 9 times. He joined our program and it's now been 10 months. Take a guess at how many times he's been suspended. None. He told us that he's actually not going to leave Year 10 and that he took himself to the school counsellor and he's now figuring out a way to pass Year 12, get into uni and to become an engineer. Or like Chris, who approached Brenton during one of the programs and said, I've got to see the principal in 30 minutes. I got myself in a situation and I lost control, but it's okay. I'm going to go in there and I'll accept the consequences because I know that I chose my behaviour. You see, on the surface, getting your first job, wanting to stay in school is not a big deal. But for these boys, it's a game changer. It's these tiny milestones that are creating a culture where young men are rethinking and redefining their own questions or their own issues and their own behaviours. This program has a waiting list of schools, an incredible waiting list of schools all across New South Wales. $10,000 will help us to work with 120 boys. $20,000 will help us to work with 240 boys. Funds go directly into supporting the boys with resources and our youth workers. We don't get any government funding and we are supported by generous people like yourselves. So what could your support mean for us? Your support means more Jakes getting their first job at a fish and chip shop and not spending a life on welfare. Or more Sams who aspire to go to uni and to become engineers. And more Chris's who, instead of going to juvenile detention, can change his behaviour and become a positive male role model. It is these boys that can develop and change and become a new generation where Australia will have an unlimited supply of top blokes to call upon when needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. That was really slick, very, very smooth. Questions, ladies and gentlemen?
And I'd love to bring up Brenton, our youth worker.
Yep.
Brenton's just rushed in. He actually got interviewed by The Project on Channel 10 moments ago. So question him. He's prepped for it, for all the questions.
Questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, so we often have a lot of people who want to volunteer with the programs, but we actually do choose to have youth workers. They have to have a minimum of a youth work diploma or a diploma in community services or tertiary education in psychology. And the reason why we do that is these type of boys that we work with, do have a lot of complex issues, and we need to make sure that these people who are working with them on a really intense level have the training. And our youth workers continually get training in suicide prevention, trauma. What other training have you done?
I mean, myself, I did the youth work diploma at TAFE. I've been working with young people and volunteering in disability work since I was about 16. So I got ongoing training all through that, and I know that helped me get the job. But yeah, constantly we've had suicide prevention program training. We've had working with challenging behaviour stuff, mental health training. Pretty much everything we need to take it on.
Lisa.
Brendan, what's the most challenging thing in your job?
Leaving after 8 weeks. You'd be surprised the first week or two if you were to come in and see the program. You'd go, you're paying this guy to just run chaos, because it is. But come week 3 or 4, they realise, okay, these guys are here every week. They actually care. They really want to do some good. So they'll start to open up. And once they open up a little bit, we got them. And we'll build up such a great rapport. And they'll tell us things they've never told anyone else in their life. And in 8 weeks, it's just amazing. But knowing how hard it is after 8 weeks to let go, come week 6, I brace myself an hour before I go in. And it's about, okay, so this program goes for 8 weeks, but what happens after that? These challenges are still going to keep coming. What are you going to do in those circumstances? And building up their skill base and their knowledge so they know what to do in those situations.
And just to add to that, we've actually piloted, when the program first started, 1-day programs, 8-week and 16-week programs. And we've done evaluations. 16 weeks, you get incredible results. But because our funding's so limited, it's just more, I guess, economical and sustainable to do the 8-week program so that we can get through more boys. So.
Yes.
So after the 8 weeks, there's no follow-up with your clients?
We do an evaluation, so we do it at 3 months, and we soon are going to start the 6 months to see how long that impact is that we've created.
Informally, we are in the school the next 8 weeks with a new group. So we'll say to the boys, look, we're going to be here 20 minutes before, and we'll stay for 20 minutes after. If you have a problem, or you need to have a chat, or there's something you're not sure of, we'll be here. We have a single point of contact in every school that we've told, if the boys need someone to talk to or they need contact with us for any reason, whatever it may be, go to that point of contact, it'll get to us. We are careful, though, not to make them too dependent, because when you're working with 1,000 young men, it can get a bit much. So we do remain there in a sense, so we'll be there that 20 minutes beforehand, but the first week or two they'll be there, and then they'll go, no, we've got this, and you'll just hear all the great things they're doing afterwards.
One more question? Yes.
How do you select the young men you help?
So we work with the schools and often the principals and the welfare counsellors, and they select the boys that probably need the program the most. And each school is different. You can have 2 schools who are geographically next to each other and completely different issues at that school. So we work really closely with the welfare staff and the deputy principals. But also with that, the boys actually get to select if they want to be in the program or not. So obviously we're not forcing these boys.
Yeah. And quite often we have boys come up during the session and say, can I join in? And it's almost like a celebrity. We've got to say, you have to join the next terms group and things like that, but yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Brendan. Our second organisation pitching tonight is the Manjeri School Project, which is nominated by TFN member Keith Drury, Director of Private Enterprise at KPMG. The Manjeri School Project is another youth-run organisation working with educational programs in Uganda. Please welcome Founding Director Nick Harrington. Nick. Little technical work here going in. Time doesn't start till he starts the presentation.
I hope so. Matatu. Does anyone here know what a matatu is? No? Okay, well sit tight. You're about to find out what positive impact one of these can have. My first experience with a broken and totally dysfunctional school was in 2008. I was 18 and had just arrived in Uganda for my gap year. At this particular school, 200 of the 250 kids went without a roof over their head. They were taught by 3 totally untrained teachers who hadn't been paid in a year, and there was not one single textbook in sight. This school was the Erina Manjiri Primary School. And whilst it was founded with the best intentions, the international funding that got it started was short-lived, came without a strategic plan, and did nothing to change the entrenched culture of donor dependency in the area. The school ultimately failed because it was at the whim of uncertain foreign funding, and the future of the kids looked incredibly bleak. Whilst I might have been young and naive, it was pretty clear that short-term money didn't work in this area. However, I was certain there had to be a better way to deliver education in such a rural area, and I was determined to do something different that would change the course of the school. The director of the school, Bumba Mark, is a man that is selflessly dedicated to educating his people, but he was simply desperate for help and guidance. So after a few weeks of research, community consultation, and convincing, we decided that what the school really needed was a small local business. So with the help of friends and family from Australia, we set up a 2,500 bird chicken farm that would, for the very first time, generate local income for the school. This first social enterprise catalysed what is now the Manjiri School project, and also sparked my deep passion for sustainable development in Uganda. The Manjiri School project is a youth-run volunteer organisation that is unique because of its sustainable education model, which is breaking away from the often damaging traditional charity model. It's been 6 years since our first involvement with the school. The school now has solid management, and we employ 12 fully qualified teachers that are paid monthly. They teach 300 of the poorest students in 7 purpose-built classrooms that we've constructed with computers, electricity, and now shelves full of textbooks. This school certainly resembles what you and I would consider adequate for learning. So what sets the Manjiri School project apart? Well, we're all about sustainability, and we have a clear exit strategy. After changing the course of this school, our clear objective is to make sure it is 100% sustainable and independent by 2018. We are setting up small businesses that not only fund the school and employ the local community, they also empower that community by weaning them off donors for good. It's a concept that we hope to prove and then replicate in other needy communities elsewhere. You won't be hearing any more sorry stories about Africa, nor anything about sponsorship or traditional fundraising from me tonight. Rather, you'll be hearing about the immense potential and opportunity that we believe lies in the community of Bugwe. Our niche is in uncovering that very potential by seed funding small businesses that will not only fund the school, but also employ the community. So after our chicken farm and more recent honeybee cooperative, we are now poised to invest in our third venture, a matatu. A matatu in English is basically just a maxi taxi, and it's a pretty simple business. What's great about a matatu is that it not only generates daily income for the school, it also acts as a school bus before and after class, saving some of our kids up to 2 hours of walking a day. It's pretty simple business, really. We invest in a good quality matatu, which we maintain, and then rent it out to licensed drivers who then provide a transport service to the community. It's as simple as that. We need $15,000 to invest in a good quality matatu. Our conservative modelling suggests that one matatu will generate $9,000 each year. We operate our school on just $50,000 each year. The maths is pretty simple. One matatu will be able to generate almost 20% of that operating budget year on year. The other benefits is that it has light touch management and very, very little overheads, which really suits our organisation. I know there's a lot of business gurus in the room tonight, and I think you'll probably agree with me that this is a pretty good deal for the school. So I invite you all to be a part of this very small business that will have lasting impact. Our greatest success will be the day that we leave this school in 2018 knowing that they no longer need our help. So be a part of that success and help us buy a matatu. On behalf of the kids at the Eranamejiri Primary School, Sebo, Nyabo, Gue, Webalinyo, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick. That's great. Now, questions, ladies and gentlemen. Is no one going to challenge those figures there? He's done all that work. He's expecting some gurus here. Yeah.
How do you pick the various businesses? What would that be? Why chickens or why the name?
Good question. Like I said earlier on, we do a lot of community consultation and research. And so with the first business, the chicken farm, which was in 2008, we spent a number of weeks going around the community. The school sits on 2 acres, so a pretty small area of land. But saying that, it's an incredibly fertile area. And it became abundantly apparent that what they needed was a small intensive operation that would fit within their budget and is light touch, not that light touch, but easy enough to manage for the school. And we also took great advice from local chicken farmers, and also it's a socially acceptable business, which is really important. So the community had a big part of that decision.
At the back? Yep.
$9,000 is your gross profit. What's your net? Because you've got to run this thing, it's going to be off the road at certain times. It's got to be replaced.
Yeah, of course. That's a good question. Part of our modelling is that we retain a small amount of the profits, a bit of a sort of future fund for the bus so that we can reinvest in a new one. The shelf life, according to our modelling, is about 8 years. So we hope to replace it then.
Question? One further one? Yes.
Do the chicken farm and the honeybee businesses still operate, and what percentage do they contribute to the budget?
Sure. So last financial year, 17.5% of the operating costs were generated from the chicken farm. The honeybee business is quite a new one for us. It's only been around for a couple of months, and we're yet to harvest all of the honey from that, which we'll take to market in Kampala.
Nick, do the kids from the primary school work in the chicken farm and the honey enterprise? Do you see that as an important part of education?
Originally, actually, with the honeybees, I wanted to have them quite close to the school, but the sensible directors on my team said, Nick, come on, they're pretty dangerous. So naturally, they're not involved with the honeybees, but with the chickens, we try to get them involved, but it's a reasonably intensive program with 2,500 chickens, so they're best kept alone.
Yes, right up the back.
How do you envisage the leadership in the community to be able to continue to after 2008?
That's been something that we've focused on a lot of, because obviously we've got this clear exit strategy and this exit date, and we've been making sure that the ground staff have the skills, the qualifications, and also the passion within themselves to continue running the school and the business profitably. So we've been really lucky to be engaging with a group in the UK called School Enterprises, and they have a very similar model to us, and they actually run capacity building programs in Kampala. And we're also really lucky to win a Rockefeller Foundation scholarship to attend the Muhammad Yunus social business workshops also in East Africa. So we're trying to build up the capacity of the management team on the ground. But we've got a fantastic director, Bumba Mark, and we have a really good head teacher that oversees the school, and we also have a great business manager. So it's a good question. We're still working on that, but we're confident that we've got We've been getting them involved in some great programs.
Yes, right at the back.
Do the parents pay fees, and what are your plans for filling in the rest of the $50,000 that you need for
So each parent is asked to pay $8 a term. There's 3 terms in a year. For parents that can't possibly pay, what we actually do is we offer them sort of an alternative payment mechanism. So for instance, if they're growing maize, and which is part of what we feed the kids, they can contribute, say, 10 kilograms of feed instead. I should also add that 20% of our kids are orphans. And we also have quite a solid pipeline of businesses that we hope to start after the Matatu. The Matatu is a very scalable business. It makes a lot of sense to just perhaps double our fleet. But after the Matatu, we're also looking at vanilla beans. We're also looking at chia seeds, fish farming, and other agri-businesses.
Any questions? Yes.
Is there a secondary school that some of the children go on to, and how many of them would go on to that?
Sure. So there's a real attrition rate. When I first arrived, there was this incredible attrition rate of kids, even through primary school. Many kids dropping out in P3 or P4, which is year 4 equivalent here. So we've seen that really flatten out and improve, which is great. And there is a local government school, which is a couple of kilometres away, and we now track those kids. And I'm confident to say that from last year, we had 10 of our Year 7 kids going on to secondary school, which would never have happened before 2008, because actually the school didn't even go to P7, which is and just so you know, the kids are sitting their P7 exams today, so fingers crossed for them.
We've got one more question. One more question, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a question. What about the authorities, the actual education authorities? Do you link in with them, and is your school accepted? Obviously, it goes to the high school, which is a government one, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've sort of linked in so that works too?
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with the local authorities, the local Buquay Town Council, but it actually falls in the district sort of portfolio education, and we get regular sort of the standard inspections, and we've got a pretty good relationship with the local inspector. Uganda only started universal primary education in 2002, so it's all pretty fresh to them, but they're getting better at ensuring that all schools, and in fact it's actually the government schools which are the biggest worry, not primary, private schools.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much, Nick. Great. Our third organisation is called First Hand Solutions. It's nominated by Sally McGeoch, Partnerships Manager at the School for Social Entrepreneurs. It's an Aboriginal corporation running a number of programs in La Perouse in South Sydney. And here to tell us about their Back to Bush program, please welcome again co-founder and director Peter Cooley, and also one of the young apprentices, Briar Martin. Peter Cooley and Briar Martin.
Hi everyone. I'd just like to start by saying I'm a very proud Bidjigal man standing before you this evening from La Perouse. And for the past 10 years, my partner and I, Sarah, we've been running cultural reconnection programs for Aboriginal communities right across the state. Recently, we set up an Aboriginal corporation called First Hand, and we run the black markets at La Perouse. It's part of a social enterprise we run, and it operates on the first Sunday of each month from Bear Island at La Perouse. The first market was run in March this year, and it's slowly been building ever since. Today we get over 1,000 people to each market day. The black markets, it also provides an opportunity for Aboriginal people to sell their arts and crafts, their produce, and also other handmade products. The markets also provide an income for these people and develop a sense of culture and belonging at the same time. The pitch tonight is not about the markets because that's already established. Tonight, it'll take a lot of time for us through the markets to generate funds to pay for our community programs. Therefore, I'm pitching tonight to raise funds for our program called Back to Bush. It's a cultural reconnection camp. Tonight I'm asking for $10,000, and with that, we can run Back to Bush for 20 Aboriginal kids who will learn from Aboriginal elders and Aboriginal role models using culture as the forum. My vision is that every young Aboriginal person knows that there always was and always will be a future in their culture. We at First Hand Solutions run culturally appropriate programs that focus on cultural reconnection and leadership for our people, particularly our young people. These programs build strong spirit, which leads to increased confidence, respect and resilience. We know this because we've been running programs on the ground with Aboriginal people for the last 10 years, and we know what works. This strong spirit and resilience is like placing a rudder on a ship, and the ship can now steer in the right direction. Without culture, our young people are lost. They have no rudder and they have no direction. They can then be pushed off course by the elements to places where they shouldn't be. Through Back to Bush, young people will have the opportunity to make traditional artefacts such as boomerangs, spears, weaving products, and also listen to ancient dreaming stories. They will also learn disciplines and how to hold them and use them. At First Hand, we build people to build programs which builds lives. I'd now like to introduce you to an amazing young fella called Briar, who I've been lucky enough to spend some time with in the past, and who I'm now mentoring to become a leader. For a young fella, he was very unusual because he had knowledge and ability to teach people from a very young age. He was on a good path, but Sarah and we didn't have enough money to keep employing him, and the funding for our camps run out. Sadly, the employment market didn't put value on his cultural knowledge, and he was once again unemployed and eventually lost his way. I'm very excited as Briar is back with us working in our social enterprise. He's working as a tour guide, and I'd now like to introduce him to share a little bit of his story.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Briar Martin. I am a 23-year-old single father from the Yuin Nation. When I was 20, I was given the opportunity to educate young people on cultural camps for Aboriginal families with Peter and Sarah. When I was working with these troubled kids, I began to see how I could plant a seed of culture within these kids, like my elders had done so with me, for those roots to grow and that tree to flourish. The more I teach, the more I learn and expand my cultural connections and get that sense of belonging which many young Aboriginal kids and people don't have today. Although when the camp stopped, I did lose my way and ended up being incarcerated for a short period of time. I have battled depression for a very long time. It was a tough road, but at the end of the day, I did not find my way through normal medications or treatments. Once I connected back to culture, it was then I found I was empowering myself and eliminating the depression within my life. Through my teachings, it is my goal to minimise depression levels and suicide rates as they are getting higher and higher each day. Suicide has impacted my life dramatically. I have lost two of the closest men to me through suicide. I now use culture as a kind of spiritual tool to guide me through these tough times. Culture is like a drop of water hitting the pond. The ripple effect will help other young brothers and sisters get through the tough times and give them a sense of belonging.
Thanks, Briar. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll be very grateful for your support. As I mentioned before, $10,000 will fund a Back to Bush camp for 20 young Aboriginal people. But every 500 more enables us to include another kid, and it gives us more opportunity to find and build young people just like Briar. I can assure you, your money will be well spent if invested in our youth. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Briar. Questions, ladies and gentlemen? Lisa.
Can you explain what actually happens in back bush?
Yep. Well, we have quite a good bunch of very, very experienced Aboriginal elders and cultural people that we work with, and including myself, and also Briar has a vast cultural knowledge as well for a very young person, and we're able to take young people. We have access to the Royal National Park and all the cultural sites that are in the Royal National Park, and a beautiful little property there where we base ourselves, and we actually take people out into the, we have permission to cultural resource gather from the park, and so we're able to take the young people out, gather all our resources, and come back to the location where we'll set up a campfire where there's discussions around the campfire with elders, but also more importantly, when it comes to making the stuff, the elders are there guiding the young people, teaching them how to make things like traditional boomerangs, spears, weaving traditional baskets, all while they're surrounded by these really positive people in the community. We do have girls as part of the camps, yes, and we have some very skilled female Aboriginal elders, and the non-Indigenous people, we do run cultural awareness stuff for people.
Peter, how do you recruit the kids into the program? How do you encourage people to join?
I did mention that we've been running cultural programs for about the last 10 years, and we are linked in with a lot of the out-of-home care services. We're linked in with a lot of the community organisations, and also we've been working in the schools for the last 15 years. So we do tend to send a lot of information but we do focus a lot on that at-risk group, that out-of-home care, and we also are tied in with the juvenile justice and stuff like that, and we do take young offenders and that as well.
What's the impact you've seen of the students coming back post-camp and going through this experience?
It's standing right here, but yeah, really, really positive, but I might let Briar actually answer that.
2 years ago, but while the camps were still running, I actually had the chance to take a family away from out in Campbelltown, and it was probably one of the most rewarding things I've done in my life. It was a single mother, who had 2 children, both teenagers, both had never experienced culture in the minute scale, nothing at all. By the end of it, not only could both of them fish, but they were culturally aware. And that is a big part of Aboriginal culture, just being aware, it's key, it really is. And I'm actually still in touch with that lady, and she is a beautiful soul, and her children have grown so much from that, and I've actually been inspired to follow on with this work from that story.
Tell me, what is it about the culture that moves you like that?
Culture itself?
Yeah. Explain to us what it means.
A sense of belonging. Not just belonging, but almost, I feel like I've been connected with society. Not just within the Aboriginal community, but on a much larger scale. I feel that it has helped me through troubled times where without it, I guarantee you I would not be standing here right now. I spoke on it earlier. I lost two of the closest men to me. Those two men was my father and my best friend. So without culture, I would not be here. But for example, when I play the didgeridoo, it's very therapeutic. I did anger management all throughout school. Didn't do anything for me, didn't teach me anything. I struggled to apply it in day-to-day life. It just didn't work. Like, how do you sit there and tell a juvenile to breathe and go to their happy place? That's... It doesn't happen. Like, go to your happy place. Hold on, I'll just grab my stuff and I'll walk out the door. That's my happy place. But I was fortunate enough to pick up the didgeridoo. And while I was playing the didgeridoo, I noticed a breathing pattern, much similar to what they were trying to teach me through our anger management. So now when I play didgeridoo, I actually slip into a meditation. And throughout that meditation, it allows me to sort through my head noise and just relax. And without that spiritual tool, I guarantee you I would have fallen off the tracks again, if not permanently.
Thank you very much, Peter and Briar. Now, our final organisation this evening has been nominated by TFN member Leanne Townsend, CEO of the National Aboriginal Sporting Chants Academy, and it's called Joining the Dots. They work to bring greater connections between communities in Australia. Here to tell us more about this Welcome Dinner project, please welcome Founding Director Penny Elsley, along with Hamid. Penny's going to be joined by Hamid, who's been volunteering for the project as their photographer for the past 9 months. Penny.
Am I on? Yep. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Pay my respects to the ancestors, both past and present. 5 years ago, I embarked on a rather unplanned but very intentional journey. And that journey took me across 5 continents to some of the most isolated communities on my search for what it is that the world needs most and what my part might be in making a difference. After I returned to Australia, I was with a group of Sudanese women one day, and one of them said to me, "Penny, I've been here for 5 years and no one has ever invited me into their home. And this makes me feel isolated and not yet part of Australia." And in that moment, I felt a fire in my belly. I knew this was a dot I needed to join. When I was on that journey, towards the end of it, I met a man called Greg. He was 80 years old. He was in a place called Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he was one who said to me, "Penny, you know what you're doing. You're going where the dots are not joined." I thought back to those women and I thought, what's the best way to join those dots and bring people together? Put your hand up if you got to try some of Sonam's famous dumplings a little bit earlier. Thank you, Sonam, and thank you for all you've contributed to this project. If you were lucky enough to try some of Sonam's famous dumplings, you would have got a taste of some of the array of exotic food that you could find around your dinner table at a welcome dinner. I tell you, there's a wonder it's not a lot more of me. How it works is we bring together an equal mix of local established Australians and newly arrived people. And they could be skilled migrants, international students, refugees, anyone who's new. We have all these people at our welcome dinners. And everyone brings a dish from their culture and we share it. But the magic of what's key to how these welcome dinners work is our facilitators. We train facilitators, they're all volunteers, 2 of which turn up to every welcome dinner. And they create a safe space for everyone to feel really welcome and comfortable about interacting. Hamid, thank you for your patience. Come on up. Have we got that turned on?
I guess, yeah.
Next photo, please. This was a welcome dinner or welcome lunch we had back in February at Parramatta Park, and it was the first day that I met Hamid. Hamid, can you tell us about that experience for you?
Actually, about this experience was the first day I have a relationship with my camera again, because for the long time I didn't touch it. And the feeling about that one, always I see it, it's like just show me up how I just finish up that limbo and I'm just found my way again from the completely limbo, because I coming with a lot of hope. And each door I open was just wall behind the door. Like I didn't find any way to connecting to the community, to the people, to found a friend. That was more important for me. And after that day, I found my way. Like after 2 years long, no any connection, I'm finding the friends. Then after that, at the moment, I have some picture they printing in the magazine as a first page, and I'm just the beginning. I wish to do it more.
Wow, because you'd been here about a year before I met you that day, yeah?
Yeah, actually it was a year and a half.
Wow, that's some transformation. So you say you felt like you were so isolated, and limbo was the word that you used. And then since the connections that you made at the welcome dinner and the confidence that you got.
Actually, after welcome dinner, I found the way. Just like they show me some way can through the wall. So after that, I found a friend. I've been in Melbourne doing the DO lecture. I have some friend here, James is here. And yeah, then after that, they asked me to do some photos for some magazine. And yeah, I just found out my way. That actually I can call the dinner project was a straight bridge for me to connect to the people again.
Thank you very much, Hamid. What a transformation. And thank you also because Hamid has been volunteering as a photographer for us since that day that we met, actually. I don't think he's had his hands off that camera since that day, and producing the most beautiful, spectacular images, actually. We're really capturing the experience for other people. So thank you. What's so powerful about welcome dinners is that this kind of transformation happens not only for newly arrived people, but we see it just as much for established Australians as well. But right now, hundreds of thousands of people like Hamid are being excluded from being a productive member of our society. Just take a look at this graph for a moment. That red line is the story so far, where we've had close to 2,000 people participate in a welcome dinner since we launched last March. And all of these people have just come out of the community. I've just been in awe since the first moment of just how people have got behind this. We've had hundreds of volunteers. The media got hold of it, spread the story across the country. We had so many requests come in that we've now launched in Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, and next week in Tasmania. This blue line here is the requests that we've got coming in. This is the people who have registered, people like you and people like Hamid, actually seeking to connect and reach out to each other. As you can see, there's a gap there. We haven't been able to keep up with the demand. And actually, this line is what we believe the real story is. This can go exponential, and it needs to. We know that there are 200,000 people, new people, who come to our shores every year. And we also know that there are just as many, actually more, people who've been in Australia their whole life who want to make this kind of connection. We know we can have a welcome dinner every day. That's our dream. We know that will change the face of Australian society. For every $10,000 we raise, we will see another 1,500 people at least in a welcome dinner. And as we scale, we will see this and the face of Australian society change so that that Fair Go Australia we all know will become a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Hamid. Questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, over there.
Yes, how many welcome home dinners will the $10,000 fund resource?
Well, as I said, we sat down and did the numbers, and we worked out that there will be about 1,500 people at least involved in a welcome dinner for that amount of money. We've had so far 40 welcome dinners. 30 of those have been in people's homes, and 10 of those have been large scale with more than 100 people in community centres, parks, libraries and the like. So we sort of based our numbers on that to work out what we could do with $10,000.
Cool.
Yes, Norma?
Does everyone cook Penny? You know, like Hummy, does his people cook?
Absolutely, absolutely. As I said, there's a wonder there's not a lot more of me. So I get to try at every welcome dinner food from people's cultures and even established Australians from whatever cultural background they have, or whether it's grandma's recipe. Everyone brings a dish to share.
So if everybody brings a dish, where does the money, I'm trying to understand where the money goes. How does that work? Where does actual money go?
Sure. So far we've had some funding from local councils, a bit of sponsorship from Amnesty. We just raised $23,000 from some crowdfunding, which was fantastic. It really showed that the community is behind this. What we need the money for is, A, to upgrade our information technology system, so our registration database to cope with this national launch. We also need money to run the dinners themselves, so the materials that are required. We provide interpreters. Sonam's here. She works as an interpreter for us for all the dinners we have with Tibetan refugees because they're very newly arrived and they need interpreters. We also help with transport because this is the reason why people aren't doing this and aren't coming together. There are lots of barriers, whether it's around language, accessibility, can't afford to get there, you know, those sorts of things. So we provide that very practical support, but we also need staff. And we're going to have a paid state coordinator in every state because we're about sustaining this. We want this to be a sustainable model. And so we have to have people in paid positions as well. So we're really working towards that. Everyone's a volunteer at this point, including myself. Yeah.
How do you get people to come together? Where do you find everyone?
Where do we find everyone? Lots of people find us. So we have a pretty good social media presence, which is just growing by the day. And with the attention we've had from the media, so we've been on national news twice. We've also had articles come out in the Sydney Morning Herald, in Broadsheet. Our website crashed that day. We had so much interest when we were on the front page of Broadsheet. So people find out in that way. Particularly with the newly arrived people, though, we tend to go through agencies that are working with them. We have a lot of our facilitators who go and do presentations at English classes. We've actually discovered that's the best way to get in touch with newly arrived people. And people need to see pictures, they need to see video, what this is like, to feel safe to come. And they need to meet someone who's going to be there to feel safe to come. So there's actually quite a lot of work in helping people get there, but we know when they get there, the rewards are great, and we just see the transformation in people's faces. Yeah.
Involve families and younger children?
Absolutely. So this project is for everyone. We're quite astounded that it's attracting people from every sector of society and from every generation. So we try to match people up, if they're families with small children, we try to match them up with families with small children. Quite often we just have a whole mix of ages as well.
Can you just explain what facilitators do on the night?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started with one facilitator and very quickly we learnt that we needed two. So facilitators really help people feel welcome. So we have different activities. We do very simple things because we want it to feel as naturally like a dinner as possible. But, you know, people come in and are welcomed and get a name tag, and on that name tag they write what they're passionate about, which is how we kick off the conversation. We start the dinner with the facilitators introducing the project and inviting everyone to say what is in the food that they brought, so that they can introduce the dish and everyone knows what's in it, what they're going to be eating. But also, you actually learn a lot about that person and their culture from them introducing their food. So it's kind of not as confronting as introducing yourself, but right at the start of that meal, every single person, even the shy people, have said something. And so the facilitators run these activities. We give out contact cards. We help them talk about what they can do next because we don't want it to just be a dinner. We want to make those connections continue. You can see hanging at the back all the speech bubbles. We've got thousands of those. Everyone who's been at a welcome dinner writes a word about how they feel, and we share those words. We've had people say, this is the first time I feel hope. This is the first time I've ever been out. You know, so we get these kind of messages and almost a bit of evaluation just by doing that little speech bubble activity at the end. So there are different activities that are run, and of course also the practical stuff about liaising with the host and who's doing the washing up and what have you.
One more?
Briar.
Are they culturally appropriate?
I'm sorry, didn't see it. Yeah.
Are they culturally appropriate?
That's a wonderful question.
Yeah.
One of the founding principles of Joining the Dots is very much about acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and how we can really connect with what it means to be welcoming in a true sense. And so we actually start the welcome dinners by saying the only true people who can welcome us here are the First Nations people of this country. Now, I know your question is probably more about other cultures as well, but I just wanted to say that because it's very important to us in the work of Joining the Dots that we begin there. But in terms of being culturally appropriate, this is one of the barriers that people fear. In fact, my friend Paul, who's in the audience tonight, was one of the instigators of me getting this idea because he said, we've been looking to meet newly arrived people, but we're worried about it being tokenistic or we might do something culturally inappropriate. So we train the facilitators to actually hold that space and to really invite people to converse about different things. We have a couple of rules, and one is that you don't ask people how they came to Australia or where you work. And actually we concentrate on what we have in common so that we can really rediscover our common humanity. That's what the Dinner Project's about.
Thank you. Great, thank you. Well, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask all of our projects to now leave the room, please. And please join together and give them a very big applause for a wonderful effort tonight. Hear the music? While they're doing it, please stand up and loosen yourselves up a bit. We're just going to have 30 seconds of music.
You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got, don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
Okay.
Clap along if you feel like that's what you want.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please take your seats again, please? That's all right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you just lose them. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. If you can take your seats again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started now, get into the pledging. Okay, here's the tough part of the night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just run you through, for those who haven't been to a session before, how this pledging operates. We seek pledges for each project, and we'll go through them one at a time, and we're looking to try and get 10,000 for each of them. Now, each organisation is represented by an advocate, a passionate supporter who knows them all well. He's not on the staff, he or she's not on the staff, and they will kickstart the pledging tonight for us. And then it's over to us to try to give what we can. All pledges are tax deductible. They start from $100. The average is about $300 a person we've found over the years that we've been doing this, which is not a lot. It's about the price of a dinner for two at this end of town, or maybe a ticket, one ticket perhaps, to the Opera House down there. So when you put it in perspective, most of us can afford it at some stage. But that's the point. The amounts are what you can afford, and every single pledge that we get is valued equally, whether it's $100 or $2,000. It's the collective effort of tonight which really is what we're looking to try to achieve. And if you can play your part in making a real difference to these various projects, well, I'm sure that you'll see the rewards. All you have to do is raise your hand once we go through this pledging process. Simply state your first name and your initial and how much you can afford to pledge. So it's Lisa C, $300. If you don't want to do that publicly, we can always organise it so that you simply just pledge by quietly doing it afterwards, and that's no problem either, but it's certainly not as much fun as calling out from the floor. And there's going to be a number up there once Tommy gets back there that if you want to, you can text to. And is that up there now? Oh yeah, sorry, it's up there already. If you want to text silently to that one, that's fine, and that'll go through. Yeah, it's pretty small. I can hardly see. 0478 193 002. 0478 193 002. It's not worth it, is it? Just put your hand up. Seriously. If you don't want to do it publicly, just come up to us afterwards. Yeah. I reckon it's less complicated. Everyone will receive an email from TFN tomorrow. All those who have pledged will receive an email with details and payment instructions, etc. And if you're watching us online, you'd like to make a donation, please just head straight to the Fulfil Your Pledge section on our website, which is www.thefundingnetwork.com.au, which you already know that probably because you're already on it. Any questions before we go? No questions? Terrific. All right. Making the first pledge to the Top Blokes Foundation, please give a hand to their advocate, Chris Gibbs, Pricing Manager at Blue Scope Steel. Where's Chris? Chris. Thanks, Chris. Here's a mic. Thank you.
And firstly, sorry about the moustache. It's pretty offensive. I've been involved.
You should be too.
I've benefited from services that Top Blokes did 9 years ago. They used to do a lot of really good work around volunteerism, and now they're doing really, really great work. My simple maths, which I should be able to do working in pricing, says $250 helps 3 kids. I'm going to kick things off for 6 kids to get through one of the things at $500. I implore you to do so.
Thank you very much. Thanks. That's Chris G. Thank you. That's great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, can I have any support for the Top Blokes program? Yes, sir. Ian C, 250. Thank you, Ian. That's great. 250 from Ian C. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Ian H. I didn't make that mistake. You made that mistake. Is that right? That's great, Ian H. I normally make that mistake. Sorry, up the back. Yes. Yes. Stacey H, 300. Thank you, Stacey. That's great. Yes. Yes. Yes, and your name? Robin, 100. Robin, 100. Thank you, Robin. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we? Yes, sir. Chris D. V. Chris V, 250. Thank you, Chris. That's great. Thank you. Yes. Albert V. C. Albert C. Thank you, Albert. That's great. Thank you. Yes. Kate G, 100. Thank you, Kate. Kate G, 100. Up the back. Gemma S, 500. Thank you, Gemma. That's great. Gemma S, 500. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going. What are we up to? I can't see that. 2,000, 250. Yep, sorry. That's a really tiny up there. Up the back? Yes, sorry. No, up the middle. Winnie C, 100. Thank you, Winnie. That's great. Yes. Anne L, 100. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany H, 100. Lisa G, 100. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, lady. Right up the back. Roger MG, 1,000. Thank you, Roger. That's wonderful. Roger, thank you. Lisa C, 100. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. Let's keep that going. Yes. Holly F, 250. Thanks, Holly. Georgia C, is it? P. Okay, so really hard to hear. It just disappears into the ceiling. Sorry. Georgia, thank you. Yes. Kath A, 100. Thanks, Kath.
Wayne Thomas, 200.
Wayne Thomas, 200. Thanks, Wayne.
Mark O, 750.
Thanks, Mark. Oh, 750. Wonderful. Thank you, Mark. Mark O, 750. Thank you.
James K, 500.
James K, 500. Thank you, James. That's great. Yes, sir.
Steve T, 200.
Sorry, couldn't hear.
Steve T.
Steve T, 200. Thank you, Steve. Sorry, thank you. Justine, 500. Thank you, Justine. That's great. How are we going? Yes, we're going. We're getting there. Let's keep going. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Gee, I tell you what, the acoustics here are really hard. They just disappear straight into the ceiling. Yes. Sandy, 200. Thank you, Sandy. That's great. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, how are we going? 4, 6. Thank you. 6, yes, up the back. Yep. Angus G, 500. Thank you, Angus. That's great. 500, yes. And next to you? George T, 100. Thank you, George. That's terrific. Now you're talking, George. That's great. Thank you, George. Yeah. Yes.
John G, 300.
Thank you, John. John G, 300. Thanks, John. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Right up the back? Sarah, 150. Thanks, Sarah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, where are we up to now? 7. Thank you. Yes. Missed that. Private, silent donation. Sorry, 100. Thank you. That's great. Silent donation. Thank you. I got you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, where are we up to? This is really awkward here.
7.
Thanks, mate. 7. We can get there, I think. Let's try. Let's keep going. 7. Any further in there? Right up the back. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Sally. Sally C, 250. Thank you, Sally. Yes. Thank you. Sarah? Caroline, sorry. Honestly, this is crazy. I can't hear it at all. Can you hear it? You can hear that. Okay, thanks. Because I can't. I need someone, either that or a hearing aid. I'm sorry, thank you. How are we going? Any further? Yes. Janice S, 100. Thank you, Janice. Yes, 100. Thank you. This is really awkward. Yes, sir.
Victor S, 100.
Thanks, Victor. Victor S, 100. Thanks, Victor. So, okay, I might just park that there and I think we'll move on to the next one. We're coming back, so don't worry. We'll go through them once each and then we'll come back again just to make sure. So we'll go through that. Now let's move on to the second one, which is the Manjeri School Project, which is a remarkable project by a really passionate young guy. I thought it was extraordinary and he'd really thought that through. So I'll ask our first, the Manjeri Project, their advocate Keith Drury. Keith, he's their advocate, he'll make the first pledge. So Keith, can I get a mic to you? Sorry, where's...
I'll be quick.
Yeah.
I have met Nick at the last TFN event and immediately I was very impressed by the clarity with which he had pursued a passion and demonstrated commitment to achieving real social change. But the point for me was really it was sincere, it was simple, and it defined an exit strategy which meant the local community itself was able to benefit in a very profound way and become self-sustaining. So I'd
Thank you, Keith. That's great. That's a great start. Thank you. Okay. So, Manjeri School Project in Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have some other support to help that one too? We know that that's going to really make a difference over there, and it's not requiring an enormous amount of money, so I think we can get there. Yes. Ros. Yes. Ros, thank you. 500. Ros M, 500. Thanks, Ros. Yes, sir.
Ian L, 2,500.
Ian L, wonderful. Thank you. 2,500. Thank you. Thank you, Ian. That's wonderful. Ian L, 2,500. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. Louise C, 250. Thank you, Louise. That's great. Yes, sir. John G, 1,000. Thank you, John. That's great. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, John. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, up there. Robin, 100. Thank you, Robin. That's great. Thank you. Yes, right up the back. Jessica R, 100. Thanks, Jessica. Yes, yes, Lisa. Yes, we have a tradition here that you can ask people to match, and which is a good tradition. And you, for example, you could say, "I'll give 500 if I can get it matched with another 500." And Lisa's trumped me there, so yes. Okay, Lisa C 100 and Patrick L 100. So there's another 200. Okay, yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going. Yes, yes, sir. Antonia, thank you. Antonia R 100. Kate G 100. Thanks, Kate. Sandy H 100. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep, yes, up the back. Angus G 2000. Thank you, Angus. That's great. Angus G 2000. Thank you. Let's keep going. I think we can get there with this one. Yes, sir. Mark O 500. Thank you, Mark. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're over. Yes. Alex LK 100. Thank you, Alex. Winnie 100. Thanks, Winnie.
Chris H 100.
Chris H 100. Thank you, Chris. That's great. Roger. Roger J 250. Thanks, Rog. Yes, let's keep going. Yes, right at the back. Didn't get that, sorry. Tim H, sorry. And how much? 500. Thank you, Tim. That's great. Tim H 500. Yes. Sally C 100. Thank you, Sally. Sally T. Sally Truby. Sorry. Didn't see you. Thanks, Sally. Yes. Holly F 250. Thanks, Holly. Yeah, at the back.
George D 100.
George, you killed him. Thank you, George. It's a pleasure to deal with you, George. Thank you. Yes.
Bill M 550.
Bill M 550. Thanks, Bill M. And we've made it there. That's great. That's great. That's wonderful. We got there 10,000, but I think we can keep going. So let's just see if we can finish now. Are there any more in the room there, right up the back? Yes, sir. Roger MG 1,000. Thank you, Roger. Any further? Yes. Sally T 1,000. Thank you. That's great. I thought so. Thank you, Sally. Further, any ladies and gentlemen? Any further? Okay, I'll park that one. We'll come back to that one as well. Okay. Thank you. Now, our next one up is First Hand Solutions, and their advocate is Paul Bide, Chair of the School for Social Entrepreneurs. I'll just get a mic to you, Paul. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Sorry. There you go.
Thanks, Patrick. For those Aboriginals that are missing something in their lives, and sadly there's a lot of them, the sort of programs that Peter is wanting to run through bush camps and more broadly through their social enterprise give people a sense of belonging. And those sort of healing programs are very well recognised as beginning the journey of acceptance with where they are and who they are. And I am very, very proud to be involved with them and pledge them $1,000 to kick them off.
Thank you, Paul. That's wonderful. That's a great start. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. You could see the difference. You can see the difference of reconnecting or connecting to culture, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. So can we have some support for that one? Yes.
Sally M 200.
Sally M 200. Thank you, Sally.
Ann L 100.
Ann L 100. Thanks, Ann. Thank you.
Daniel H 100.
Daniel H 100. Thank you, Daniel.
Norma T 250.
Norma T. Thank you, Norma. 250. Marion W 250. Thanks, Marion.
E&L 500.
Ian L, 500. Thank you, Ian. That's great. Lynn L, 100. Thank you. Thanks, Lynn. That's great. Louise C, 100. Thanks, Louise. Rosalie, 100. Thanks, Rosalie. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going. Right, yes. Peter N, 250. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Antonia. Antonia S, 100. Thanks, Antonia. Yes. Jeremy E, 100. Thanks, Jeremy. We're ticking over now, right up the back. Roger, thank you. Roger MG, 1,000. Thank you. Thank you, Roger. Yes, sir. Angus G, 500. Thank you, Angus. That's great. Yes, we're on a roll here. Thanks. Alex LK, 100. Thanks, Alex. John G, 500. Thank you, John. Kate G, 200. Thanks, Kate. Stacey H, 200. Thanks, Stacey. Steve M, 200. Thank you, Steve. Mark O, 300. Thank you, Mark. James K, 250. Thanks, James. Lisa G, 200. Thank you, Lisa. Damien R, 500. Thank you, Damien. How are we going? What are we up to? 7,000? Yep. We can get there, I reckon, on this one. Yes.
Shannon C, 100, if I get them back.
So that's Shannon C and... Okay, thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Bonnie. That's pretty cool. That was pretty easy. Thank you. Thank you. 200. So, Deirdre Mac. Deirdre M. Thank you. Thanks, Deirdre. Oops, sorry, we've got a double there. Sorry, you go first. Thanks, Caroline. 100. Caroline O. Thanks, Collie. 250. Thank you. E&H 250, you got it right that time, mate. Thank you. Wasn't that hard? Yeah. Sorry, right up the back. Thank you. Thank you, 500. Another silent donation, 1,000. Wow, that's impressive. Thank you. That's great. Where are we there? What are we up to?
9,600.
9,600. We can get there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Lisa C, 100. We're nearly, sir. Victor S, 100. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Ronnie. 300. Thank you. And Nadia B, 250. Thank you. We're there. Okay. Any further, ladies and gentlemen? That's great. No. Yeah, Tommy.
Tom H, 100. If anyone else will match it with 100.
Okay, Tommy. And who are you? Rebecca. Rebecca's matching 100.
Rebecca.
Thank you. There you go. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going. There's more? Am I missing someone up the back there? No? Okay, I'll park that. We'll move on to our last program, please. Final organisation, Joining the Dots. Advocate Paul Metcalf, Director of Investor Relations at United Way. Paul. Yep, Michael.
I had the very good fortune of meeting Penny when this idea was first started, when we were doing a fellowship program together. And the idea was just so simple but so inviting that I immediately put my house forward and said, whenever it gets up, I have to be the first house on the Northern Beaches. And we achieved that, and we had 37 guests from Tibet and 3 of my friends' families. It was just an absolutely wonderful experience. But it was also in my daughter's preparation for the dinner that 8 weeks beforehand that she started growing tomato seedlings as a way of preparing food for our guests to arrive. And even my son, who's 15, who's not big on words, decided on the speech bubbles to write an essay, which was essentially his first one he'd ever written. And then my wife was so inspired that she's organised since 2 clothing drives that we've given to the Tibetan community. So it goes on and on. That's the ripple effect that we want to encourage here tonight. So I would like to start off the bidding with a gift from my wife and myself of $500.
Thank you, Paul. That's great. Thanks very much, Paul. That's a great start. Ladies and gentlemen, Joining the Dots, can we have some support for them, please? You can see the benefits there. This is a wonderful idea. I can see this is quite a transformative thing in so many communities around Australia, and it solves so many problems for such a little outlay of money. So can we have some support? Yes, up the back. Sandy, 100. Thank you, Sandy. Lisa G, 200. Thanks, Lisa. Right up the back. James G, 300. Thank you, James. Sally M, 100. Thanks, Sally. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, where are we looking? Yes. Sorry, got to the same time. You're right behind. So go first in the front there, please. Lisa G, 200. The next one. And sorry, I got a cough in the middle of that. Thanks, Kath. 100. Thank you very much, Kath. Paul T, 100. Thanks, Paul. Winnie, 100. Thanks, Winnie. James K, 250. Thanks, James. Melinda. Melinda M, 500. Thank you, Melinda. KG, 100. Thank you. Thanks, Kate. How are we going? Yes. Georgie P, 100. Thanks, Georgie. Mark. Mark O, 250. Thanks, Mark. Yes.
Mickey L, 100.
Mickey L, 100. Thanks, mate. John G, 200. Thanks, John. Helen L, 200. Thank you, Helen. $100 from TFN London. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Ros. Ros M, 500. Thank you, Ros. Thanks, Angus, 500. Thank you. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Viv R, 100. Thanks, Viv. Right up the back. Sarah, 200. Thank you, Sarah. Ah, great one. Sally will match 500. Can we get 500? Doesn't have to be in one go. It can be hundreds. Yes, sir. 500. Thank you, Brad. Brad, 500. There you go. 1,000. Well done. Great work. Great work, Sally. That's great stuff. Thank you. Let's keep going. How are we going? Yes, we can get there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Thanks, Holly. Holly F250. Thank you. Any further? Where are we going? What are you up to, Tommy?
6050.
Okay, we've got a way to go. Let's go. Yes. Lucy B, 100. Thank you, Lucy.
Karen, 100.
Karen, 100. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Jeremy, 100. Jeremy E, thank you. Sorry? Louise, thank you, 100. Louise C, 100. Thanks, Louise. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, any more? Yes. Thanks, Emily. Emily H, 100.
Victor S for 300. If anyone else matches.
Okay, Victor is prepared for 300 if someone will match. Yes.
Rob K, I'll match Victor for 1,500.
Thank you, Rob. Rob K has trumped you, Victor. Well, we'll take both of those. So that's 18. Thank you, Rob. That's wonderful. That's pretty impressive. Okay, what are we up to now? 8,350. We can do this, yes. Sorry, another call. Steve T, 300? 200. Thanks, Steve. Sorry. Steve, it's really... That's the dead spot, I think, somewhere there. Thank you, Steve. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
John M, 1,000.
John M, 1,000. Thank you, John. That's great. Thank you. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's finish this one. Let's get them over the line. Yes. Julia, 200. Thank you, Julia. That's great. What are we up to now? 9? 7. We only... Yes, Lisa. Lisa C, 100. Thank you, Lisa. Another 500 for Brad. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. 500, so we've done it. We're over the top there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, and up the back, Roger. Roger Massey Green, 1,000. Thank you, Roger. Okay, any more? Any more? Will I park this and go back to our start and we'll go through them all one more time very quickly? Okay, I'll do that. We go back. Let's go back to top blokes. Top blokes. Tommy, where are we there with that one? We'll just see where we're picking up there with top blokes. Okay, what are we? What's that? How much is that, Tom? 825. Thank you. That's great. We can get there from there. Let's try. Yes. Say that one again for me slowly, mate. $100 for, and your name? Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, 100. Thanks, mate. Right up the back. Ah, thank you very much. Thank you, Helen. And the AIMS Foundation. So 200 from Helen L and 2,000 from the AIMS Foundation. That's wonderful. Thank you. And I missed someone down the front here too. So Bill M, 500. Thank you, Bill. Okay. All right, now we're getting there. Thank you. Yes, sir, at the back. Stephen E, 100. Thank you, Stephen. Just want to miss one over here, someone. What are we up to, Tom?
11,150.
Okay, we're over there. Yes, Brent. 300 for Brent. Thank you. 300, yes. Rob K, 1,500. Thank you, Rob. Yeah. If Rich will match you for... Victor, oh, sorry. If Victor will... That's pretty hard. Will you? Victor S, 300. Thank you, Victor. Yeah. That's putting some pressure on there, Victor. Well done. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Rob. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, are we all done there? Can we get any further? Any further support? Yes.
Luke, 1,000 for top Blokes.
Oh, wonderful work. Thank you, Luke. Thank you. So this top young blokes, top blokes is a wonderful concept. You can see the work, you can see the benefits that they'll get from this. So any further money that you can give tonight will definitely go there. Yes, so, sorry, one up the back. 500 from... Oh, Ellen, it's Ellen. Sorry, on behalf of Ellen. Okay, Ellen, 500. Thank you. That's great. Ellen, 500. Any more, ladies and gentlemen? Any more? Yes. Nadia B, 250. Thank you, Nadia. That's great. 250. Okay. Any further, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. All right, we'll leave it there. 15,000. Wonderful effort. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's terrific. Okay, the Manjeri School in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we up to now, Tom? 12,000. We can improve on that, I think. That money you can see being used so well over there. It's been thought through. Nick's a great character, a guy with great passion. You can see the work that's being done over there. Ladies and gentlemen, any further? Yes. 150. Yes. Karen HR 150. Thank you, Karen. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, any further? Yes.
Patrick, Food Within can donate 100 to this one if someone can match for first hand, because we can't afford both. But we'd like to do 100.
Yep.
And then someone could match.
Okay, Alicia, 100. And can we get it matched? Yes, we can. Thank you from Keith. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That's Keith Drury, 100 there too. And Paul, were you saying? Oh, you're going to match Paul, were you? That's cool, Alicia. Any further, ladies and gentlemen? Any further? Yes, Brent. 300 from Brent. Thank you very much. Okay, and one more. Sorry, Rob. 3,000 from Rob K. Thank you very much, Rob. That's wonderful. Now we're talking. That's wonderful. Thank you, Rob. That's great. Yes, sir. Andres, 500. Thank you. That's wonderful, Andres. Thank you. 500. Now we're getting there. That's wonderful. Yes. Oh, right at the back. 500 from Alan English again. On behalf of Alan, 500. Thank you. That's great. Gee, now we're ticking over. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Nicole M, 500. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, any further? Yes. Marshall K, 500. Thanks, Marshall. Yes. Jennifer H, 100. Who do you want to match it? Anyone? Anyone. Can we match 100 there, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, right up the back. Gemma, thank you, Gemma. 100, thank you. Okay. We all done, ladies and gentlemen? Any further? Okay, that's a wonderful result. Thanks very much. 17,650. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, now moving on to First-Hand Solutions. First-Hand Solutions, which is the Back to the Bush project. That's a wonderful concept too. Ladies and gentlemen, that will really benefit so many kids there who, as you can see from young Briar, what a remarkable young guy he is. You can see the difference that this makes. So any support you can give us here will really help there. Can I have any further support for that? Yes, Julia. Julia, $200. Julia, $200. Thank you, Julia. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, further? Yes, up the back. 3? Tracy S, sorry, 200. Thank you. Tracy S, 200. Thanks. Thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, up the back. Ames Foundation 2000. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yes, lady. Any further support, ladies? Yes, sir. Wayne 100. Thank you, Wayne. That's great. Wayne 100. Thank you. And up the back. Alan E 500. Thank you. Thanks for Alan. Yes. Thank you. Anne P 100. Thanks, Anne. That's great. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Mark. Mark O 200. Thanks, Mark. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. How are we going? Yes, sir, Brett. 200. Thanks for 300. Sorry, Brett. 300 for Brett. Thank you. Yes, sir. Bill M 500. Thank you, Bill. That's great. Now we're getting there. Okay. Yes, up the back. Sorry. Charlie P 100. Thanks, Charlie. That's great. Charlie T, was it, sir? Okay. Yes, mate.
PwC Indigenous Consulting 500.
Wow. PwC Indigenous Consulting 500. Thank you. That's great. Thank you for that. That's a terrific donation. Yes, yes. Tara, thank you. Tara D 100. Thank you. Tara D. Okay. How are we going, Tommy? What are we up to? Wow. That's fantastic. Okay. Yes. Marshall K 500. Thank you, Marshall. Yes, mate. Andres 550. Thank you, Andres. I'm making this up. Okay, yes, right off the back, sorry. Okay, there's some pressure. Okay, thanks. Philippa 100 if Tom... Thank you, Tom. Okay, that's 200. Thank you very much. Yes. Karen HR 150. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Any further, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, Rob. Rob K 2000. Thank you, Rob. That's great. Yeah, that's great. You got off lightly there, Victor. Got away with it. Thank you. What are we up to, Tommy? 50? Oh, wonderful effort. Okay, final one. Anyone, ladies and gentlemen? That's great effort. Oh, congratulations. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. That's terrific. That's really good. Okay, final one, joining the dots. We know that one's a wonderful concept as well. Well, let's see if we can finish off with that one. So support for joining the dots for the welcome dinner, that whole concept. How are we going? All right, yes. Nicole M. Thank you, Nicole. That's great. 500. Thanks, Nicole. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, further. Gemma. Gemma 100. Thank you. Thanks, Gemma. Did you say 5? Sorry. 5 or... That's right, I thought so. They're putting a lot of pressure on you down here. I thought it was 1. Thank you, Gemma. That's great. Sorry? Yeah, I'll match it. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Gemma. Oh, I'm glad it was 100 now. Thank you. Sorry.
Sally M 100 and I'll host a dinner.
Oh, host a dinner. That's great. Okay, talk to them. Sally M. Thank you. That's great. Well, talk to them as soon as they get back in the room. They'll love that. That's great. And that reminds us, ladies and gentlemen, if you can help in other ways, these guys would love to have your help. If you can get on, you could be on their board, for example. If you've got those sorts of skills, you could give them in-kind support in various different ways, advice, host a dinner, all those sorts of things. That's what they're looking for as well. It's not just the funding, it's the fact that they get a network building here and they wouldn't get the opportunity to be presenting in front of this audience, this kind of audience very often. So it's a wonderful opportunity. So it's not just about the money, but the money's important nevertheless. So let's finish this one off. Yes, any further, ladies and gentlemen? What are we up to, Tom? What's the latest now? 12,150. Yes, right up the back, sorry. Tracy S. 200? Yep, 200. Thank you. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, any further? Yes? Karen HR 100. Thanks, Karen. Yes. There's another one. Yes.
Yes, Justin S 200. 200, and I've got two other pledges. One is I'd like to be the first to host a dinner in Western Australia, so I'll put my hand up for that. And secondly, on behalf of PwC, offer some IT consultancy to the value of $5,000 to help make sure that we get value for money from that spend.
Put that in. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. That's really valuable. Thank you, and very wise as well. That's great. Thank you for both of those, or all three of those pledges. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, any further? Yes. Albert C. 100. Thanks, Albert. And Alan E. 500. Thank you. Sorry, Alan E. 500. Thank you, Alan E. 500. Gee, we're getting there now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, any further?
100,
Wayne, 100. Thanks, Wayne. All finished, ladies and gentlemen, all done? Yes, John G. Sorry. Bill. How much? 650? Thank you, Bill. 650. Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, that's great. All done, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, thank you. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wonderful effort. Thank you very much. Can we get the presenters back in now, please? We bring the presenters back in. While we're doing that, I'd like to just invite, could all the current members of TFN just please stand up in their seats so people can get an idea of how many we've got here? That's great. It's starting to grow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's terrific. That's great. We're just wanting to encourage people to join the funding network. It gives you the opportunity to actually propose these kind of projects and to vote on them, to select them, and to be part of this community which is growing and growing. It's a wonderfully rewarding opportunity for people to get involved in these sorts of things. And it's a growing organisation, as you can see, but it is starting to make a substantial difference. So if you can join, I think you'll get really great benefits from it. It's $100 to join, I think, $100 to join, and it's really worth your while. So have a think about that if you can tonight as well. So welcome back our presenters, please, ladies and gentlemen. You come out here, mate. So we'll just show you, come on out, guys. Congratulations, by the way, everyone. Thank you, and please, ladies and gentlemen, thank all of our presenters for tonight for a wonderful effort. Okay, guys, if you want to have a look at the screen, we're just going to now unveil all of them in one go. There are the pledges that have come in tonight, a total of $70,600 together. So I'll give everyone just a very brief opportunity to say a quick thank you, and one at a time. I'll just get your mic over. If you just like to respond.
Wow. First of all, I was so humbled to speak on behalf of my team tonight amongst awesome organisations and amongst esteemed philanthropists and very, very generous people. Thank you so much for your generosity tonight. We like to think we have a pretty straightforward business case, and we look forward to buying one Matatu now, and all of the benefits that will bring to the school, the kids, and the community. So thank you so much.
That's another 3,000 people at a welcome dinner, and I think you hear from Hamed that how much it meant to him, times that by 3,000, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you so much. And I also just want to acknowledge all the rest of our team who are here tonight, and Paul, who advocated for us, and Brent from our board of directors, who's been coaching me so much, and my partner Victor as well. So, and I think Sonam and her daughter had to go, but huge thank you. It's been a huge team effort. Thank you.
We should also mention, just before you speak, Peter, that you guys also got 2, or maybe it was 3, offers to host dinners, including one to do your first one in WA, in fact. Yes. So, Peter.
Just on behalf of First Hand, I just want to thank all of you for your kind, your generous donations. I know that we're going to be able to do a lot of really, really important work with a lot of young Aboriginal people. And hopefully we can start to build those like we're building Briar here. And I just want to also thank Briar for taking time out. His young fella's had a bit of a fall at school today, and he took the time out to come and be a part of this event. So I just want to thank you, Briar, for taking that time out. But thank you all. And we really do look forward to using the funding to do some really good work. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Top Blokes, we really, really thank you. That is an incredible amount that can help us to get to those schools that continually keep calling us and saying, please come and help our boys. So we'll get our staff tomorrow to start ringing those schools and saying we're in there next year. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You're helping the boys of the next generation.
I'd like to thank you all personally and invite all of you out to our next black markets. Please come out, experience Aboriginal culture. I do a cultural talk out there. It'll give you a small insight into my culture. Please do so.
Good on you, mate. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please once again thank our presenters. Thanks very much. And while you're there, guys, we also have made a point that if anyone can help you in other ways, not necessarily financial, but can help by volunteering, can help by being on your boards or providing in-kind service, and already you've got one offer that is coming which will be explained shortly to you of in-kind support, and there must be many others here as well. So if anyone else can help in that way, please come, talk to the guys and make your offers that way. Congratulations to everyone tonight. They were wonderful presentations. I think everyone was most impressed with the calibre of the presentations. As I said before, everyone will get an email. All the people who've made donations tonight will get an email tomorrow from TFN with all the details. We'd ask you to pay as soon as you can within the next 48 hours, please, so that the organisations, we can in turn pay the organisations as quickly as possible and they can get to use the funding as soon as possible. Final thank you to our host AMP and to all of our volunteers tonight. And thanks again to all of our presenters, Melissa, Nick, Peter, Penny, Bria and Hamid and Brent. And Brent, thank you very much. Please, one more thanks for them and congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Together we raised $70,600. A wonderful effort. Thank you very much.